Hello everyone, Chris Collins here from the SCSeTools support staff. We're going to be taking a look at the SCS instrument communicator. More specifically, a quick little introduction for the field staff to go over the workflow to be able to manage and to be able to complete your work using the SCS instrument communicator, and then that all being tied in with the SCSeTools application as well. So I'm going to go ahead and launch my instrument communicator here. You can see I already logged in on the left hand side. It has my account name. So just the basic login information that you use in order to get into SCSeTools. It's the same information within the instrument communicator. You'll see on the left-hand side here that we have a list of all of the sites that we have access to within the system. You'll notice that there's two eTools landfills listed here. The top one has local, as indicated, and the bottom one does not. The local ones are what we want to try to get away from. It's what is actually stored on your computer itself, where the ones that does not say local is actually stored online within eTools. There's a number of reasons why we need to be using the eTools one as opposed to using the local versions that are stored on your computer. The main thing is really if your computer crashes, we do not lose any of that information. It is still stored within eTools. Also, if you have multiple technicians that are working on sites, if somebody changes on their local computer what the orifice plate sizes are, or the wellhead configurations, any of that, the comments, it would all be specific to their local computer and not to the one that's actually stored in eTools. So we just want to make sure that's in one central place that all of the information is stored, and we make sure that that is actually as accurate. And plus we can go back and reference that within eTools itself if we ever need to. You'll see on the right hand side, this is a list of the IDs that we currently have in the instrument. And on top right here, just some information about the instrument. We have a GEM 2000 hooked up currently, just to give us an idea. Making sure that everything's connected. You can see what the serial number is and all of that stuff there in the top hand corner there. What I'm going to actually start out doing is by erasing the IDs I currently have on the instrument. So I'll go ahead and clear the ID list. That way that we can prepare to send a new one to it. So you'll see it'll cross it out. We'll go ahead and send that to the instrument and just clear those out. Now what I want to do here on the left hand side, I'm going to go ahead and select the eTools landfill. You'll see all the IDs that we have associated with it. We have the ability here to actually edit IDs. If you have an ID, a new well, something like that, that needs to be added into the system, we can go ahead and do that. The exact same process that we typically would do either within the instrument communicator in offline mode, or that you would be doing with the Lantex LSGAM software as well. If we go ahead and click on Add ID, it'll actually prompt up this window that has, we can put in our new ID, the wellhead information, the pump time. Go ahead and select your comments. All of that as you typically would if you're setting it up in offline mode. The difference is that once you go ahead and save that, it pushes it into eTools, and then the data approvers will actually have to pick it up from there to ensure that that is, for the correct site, that sort of thing. If you do add a new ID, you still need to contact SCS support just to let us know, one, what is the reading frequency of that new ID? Does it need to be read once a month? Is it, once every half month? Is it once a quarter? Whatever that is. And then also if there is any regulatory requirements for that one. So if it's an SPS or, Quad A, whatever the case may be, just let us know. That way that we can make sure they're set up correctly in the system. In order, we'll go ahead and edit one of them. We actually have pre-existing here just to go through the demonstration. So we'll do with HC1 here. I'll go ahead and select it. And now I'm going to right click and then edit the device ID. Once I click on edit, it's going to pop up this other dialog box here. We can go ahead and we can make changes to the wellhead configuration, which we'll actually do here. We'll do changes to an AccuFlow 2V, and then we can change the pump time. GPS information, if it has not been entered before, we can enter that if we know what it is. If you have any doubts about that, please go ahead and contact support though. If there's something that has values in there already, you can't correct it through there. You'll still have to go through support, however. So if eTools sees that there's nothing there, you can't update that. If it sees that there is a value there, it will not allow you to update that through iComm, so just keep that in mind. The ID questions, maybe you want to change what questions are available. We have a few that are selected here. We could go ahead and make the changes to which ones actually show whenever you're taking your readings and you're saving it to your GEM. So I'll go ahead and just change that over from fully closed, and we'll add the increased vacuum one. Go ahead and click Done. And then we'll have to go through the other ones too if we actually want to have them selected or not. I'll go ahead and select these to none for the question 2 and the question 3. And we'll go ahead and click Done, as mentioned. And what that'll do, you'll see that that wellhead information has all changed to that new one that we have set there. Once we go ahead and we do that, we're going to go ahead and save. Let's say this has been saved. Would you like to send to eTools? We're going to go ahead and say yes. You'll notice once we go through and we make that change and we save it, and then you'll get this dialog pop up that says that your request has been completed. Okay, we can now send these IDs to our gem. So I'll go ahead and I'll select the first one and do a shift click on the bottom, drag it over to the right, and then send to the instrument. Once we send this to the instrument, you'll see it has the new wellhead configuration, all of that information there. We can go out and perform our work at that point. Now, you may have noticed whenever you save a project, it'll actually create a new project here in the top left-hand side. It says eTools Landfill, so this is the site name, mod for modified, and then there's a date stamp for actually when all of that was created there. This is a file so you can go out and you can perform your work. It has all the new wellhead configurations and all that for it. This is not the one that you should be working out of going forward though. After you have all of that information and you're out in the field, you're doing your work, you can actually go up here to projects and delete current project. And it'll go ahead and delete that off of your computer. What you want to do from there on out is still continue to work from that online project that does not have the local one there. The reason it does the modified version of the project is the same time that you click save that it creates that, it sends out a notification to the data approver as well, letting them know that there's been a change to the landfill. So that's a separate, different workflow. The data approver then has to go in and approve that just to make sure that it is to the right project, that it wasn't IDs added to the wrong one by mistake. Once they approve it, it will be added to the eTools Landfill, your regular project file that you have there. Now, this obviously we haven't approved this yet, and there's going to be a separate video for the data approvers to go over how they need to actually go within eTools itself and approve that information after they receive that email. But as you can see, all of the wellhead types are still exactly the same as they were earlier. Once we go through and the data approver approves that, then that will actually change in the system. So the next time you come out there and you send it to your instrument, you'll have all of that wellhead information as you have currently in your gem. One of the changes between this and the earlier versions of the Landtech software, where it doesn't actually connect to eTools, is you also have the ability to upload readings directly from the instrument. Another part of that, if you're still downloading onto your computer for whatever reason, you also encrypt that data, upload that into eTools. There is a requirement for all SCS employees to actually be using the encrypted version of the data uploads. And in some of our clients that may be watching this video as well, there is a requirement for some of you to be able to have to only upload the encrypted version of it and not the unencrypted version. The reason for that is for data integrity. It just makes sure that there's no chance of anything ever being changed by mistake, anything getting deleted or anything in that file being changed outside of being documented within SCSeTools. So again, just for added data integrity to make sure that there's no issues or anything weird going on, it is highly, highly recommended for those of you that are not using it that you use the encrypted version. And as mentioned for SCS folk and for some others of you out there that may be watching this video, that is a requirement for them as well. So you may not have a choice but to upload that encrypted version. So in order to actually upload the data, though, we'll go ahead and go to Readings. And the preferred way, as mentioned, would be actually doing it directly from eTools as opposed to saving the file. But once we go to Readings, we'll go ahead and click on Get Readings as we typically would. It'll pull what's currently on the instrument. You'll see our one reading that we have here. And then we can go ahead and upload these directly to SCSeTools. Once we click on that, it'll prompt you for any of the weather information. So the field tech, we'll go ahead and just put myself in there. Download tech, I'll do the same thing. Ambient temperature, go ahead and fill these out. No precipitation. Wind speed, and then wind direction. Have all that information in there. We'll click Done. And then once we go ahead and click Done, that'll send that information into eTools and we'll receive this dialog box that lets us know that our request is complete. So that data has been uploaded now. If there was any kind of errors or anything like that, you would receive an email as well stating that there was an error that you have to go in and check out. So all of that is in eTools. You can go in and review that now. If for some reason you are not using the direct upload, as mentioned, that's highly recommended that you do use the direct upload. But if you are not, you can also click on the export readings. And we'll go ahead and we'll apply the existing stamping weather information that we just filled out. Click yes. And you'll see our reading that we have here. The difference between this and the typical Lantec software, if you look in the top right-hand side, there is a public keys. Drop down that, and there's an SCS public key. That's actually what encrypts that data. Once we have that selected, we'll go ahead and we will save the file, and then it will prompt us to where we actually want to save that. We'll keep it here on the desktop, and we'll just put upload example. That will actually create two versions of the file as soon as you do that. One will be encrypted and one will not be encrypted. So let me go ahead and swap on over here to my desktop. And just an example of the file, you'll see here's one here. There's the second one. This first one says encrypted, and this other one does not. If we double click on this other one right here, this is the non-encrypted file. We can kind of see what's going on. Here's the data like we're typically used to seeing. And if we go through after that and we click on the other one, the encrypted one, it's just all gibberish basically. You can't really see, and it's still loading here. You can't really see what the actual data is. So again, if there was any kind of data integrity, you can't accidentally delete anything. You can't change comments, or you can't change the columns, excuse me, or anything like that. So again, it just makes sure that everything, once you upload that in eTools, if you have a change or something, you can make that within eTools. So again, it just makes sure that everything's just on the up and up, and there's no like any kind of issues or anything like that with the information itself. That's pretty much it though. So once you have your data and everything uploaded into eTools, you're good to go. As always, if you have any questions or if there is anything else that we can do for you, feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information, our email address is support@SCSeTools.com, and our phone number is 866-612-6820. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to contact us. Thanks everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.